My name is Chris, and today we're going to do a quick review of the Record Store Day drops. So I have in my hand the list that just came out for both the June 12th and July 17th drops. They may be adding more, we're not certain. I know that happened with Black Fridays, but this list, unfortunately, for my taste, is a little weak. There are a lot of cool things, but a lot of the cool things on there are picture discs. Now, I'm not trying to knock picture discs. I'm sure a lot of you collect them, and there's nothing wrong with that. You should collect what makes you happy. When I collect records, however, I do so because I want a high quality audio experience, and picture discs just don't sound very good. They're not made to sound good, they're made to look good. And they do, they look fantastic, but I'm kind of bummed because it's one more step, it seems, that Record Store Day is turning more toward gimmicks and collectibles rather than high quality pressings or limited edition hard to find pressings. Maybe that was never the intention. It seemed like it was back in the day, but I digress as always. So here's a brief summation of the things I wanted to see. I'll have a link to the full list in the description below. But first and foremost, the picture discs. AC/DC, picture disc. Black Sabbath, Mob Rules, and Heaven and Hell, both picture discs. What else? We've got The Cure, picture disc. Deftones, picture disc. There's more on some other pages, but some of the things I am looking forward to. John Carpenter. They've been doing a lot of John Carpenter soundtracks, and I really enjoy his stuff, not only the movies, but he's got a very unique way of scoring his own films, which I thoroughly enjoy. I recently picked up The Fog, which was excellent. So this one is for Village of the Damned, which is a classic movie. I like that one as well, so I'll pick that up. Albert Collins. That's a live album. That should be pretty good. I like the blues. Albert Collins was a legend. That might be pretty good. The Doors. Hotel Morrison Sessions. Now, I'm not sure what they're going to put into that. I haven't bothered to look anything up because this is, like I said, hot off the press. Echo and the Bunnymen is an act from, well, mainly known for their stuff in the 80s. It's a little more goth, sometimes pop, but I really like the feel that they put out. Matter of fact, the Echo and the Bunnymen covered The Doors with People Are Strange, and I've always liked it. That's what got me into that band in the first place. They're going to have a Live in Liverpool 2LP, so I'll probably pick that up. That's not too bad. Over here, the only thing on this entire page that I'm interested in, there might be a lot of things, because there's quality people, like Sarah Jarosz. She is insanely talented, but it's really not my style of music. It's not something I would probably go after. But King's X is really the only thing on here that I have a real want and desire for. A lot of you will probably like The Grateful Dead, the Olympia Theater in Paris. That is going to be a 6 LP box set. So if there are Deadheads out there, you might enjoy that. Personally, not so much. Oh, look, another picture disc. And who is it? One of my all-time favorites, Motorhead. It's a bit of a bummer. They do have Thelonious Monk live in Palo Alto, the Custodians mix. I love jazz, so I will probably look into that more and see what that's going to be. You guys might like Lamb of God. I'm not a huge fan, but they're going to have As the Palaces Burn. That might pique your interest if you're a metal person. I kind of range from that. I love classical and jazz, but I love my metal too. The Police are going to have 2 live albums, live in Boston in 1979 and Atlanta in 83. Those are both going to be dual LP discs, so that should be all right. The closest thing, though, to the Ramones we have for the first drop is Joey Ramone, which is fine. I'm not upset by that, but it's his single album or his solo album. Don't Worry About Me. That'll be a single LP, so I'll definitely pick that up because I've been a Ramones fan, God, for as long as I can remember. I think I was 14 when I first discovered them on my own. That's a story for another time, but they do have another Ramones coming out in the July 17th. We'll get to that. So moving along, Joe Strummer, picture disc. The Sword, 15th anniversary of Age of Wonders. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been that long since that album came out. But I will probably try to pick that up too because I dig a lot of their stuff. Some of it I'm kind of, I don't know, hit and miss. But there's an overall feel that that band has that I just sort of enjoy. Tears for Fears, because I'm old and like old people music. Live at Massey Hall, that's a dual LP. If you're into 80s stuff, Tears for Fears, they are really good songwriters. And I would recommend checking into that stuff if you enjoy that. And then on the last page, the only thing really that I'm interested in is a band called VAST, which is an acronym for Visual Audio Sensory Theater. And the title of the album is Music for People. I don't know if this is, I have a CD of theirs. I only have the one, but I really liked it a lot. It's kind of like, oh, what the hell is that band? I can't think of it. It's a modern band, and it sounds a lot like them, but this came ages before. And I will probably look into that. You may be interested in, there's Warren Zevon and there's Link Ray, and I like Link Ray, but not so much when he's singing, and this is the singing and playing guitar. I'm picky. I like what I like. There's a Who on here, but the Who is face dances. It's just not for me. And even the various artist stuff, which is usually soundtracks, that's where we ended up getting like the Crow soundtrack for one, and then what's the Bruce Campbell movie? I'm drawing a blank, but I picked that up last time as well. That was really good. Even the soundtracks here are really, in my opinion, they're just weak. This whole list, I don't know if it has anything to do with COVID, them not being able to get stuff out, because having 3 record store days last year worked out pretty well, and I found something to like in almost all 3 of them. By the third one, it started to feel more like a chore than something enjoyable, so I'm glad they're only doing 2 this year. But for the July 17th thus far, another John Carpenter, Ghosts of Mars, very cool. The Cure, picture disc. Miles Davis, Champions, they're doing the complete Jack Johnson sessions. I'll look into that. Miles Davis, I'm hot and cold with, which I know is sacrilegious if you're a jazz fan, but I have my reasons, and that's that. Ani DeFranco, I have a couple of her CDs from ages ago, and she is insanely talented, so I'll probably take a look at that as well. They're doing a 30th anniversary, apparently of her self-titled, and then Dire Straits Encores. Now, I like Dire Straits, but I'm not a massive fan, because if I were, I could tell you right away how good or bad that album is, and I don't know. I like most of their stuff that I've heard. Some of their albums tend to put me to sleep, but that's all right. I will look elsewhere as well. Rory Gallagher, Cleveland Calling, so it's a live album, dual LP live album. Rory Gallagher was a hell of a guitar player. Sammy Hagar, could be cool. Picture disc. King's X, another King's X title. I think that was actually the last band that I saw before lockdown. I saw them at the Token Lounge in Westland, and I don't remember how long before lockdown, but they're always fantastic live, so I like almost everything that they do. Mastodon, picture disc. Ennio Morricone. Now, I'm not familiar with the motion picture soundtrack for Blue-Eyed Bandit, but I'm going to look it up, because Ennio Morricone was a legend, and he's done so many good things that I enjoy. I'll look that up and find out. Mr. Big, Lean Into It. Now, that is absolutely... it's kind of a hair metal-y band. It's almost a pop metal band, but it has amazing musicians in it, like Paul Gilbert and Billy Sheehan. But this album was, meant more for the pop scene. But of course, I learned how to play To Be With You on the guitar, because when that came out, I was in early high school, late junior high or early high school, and that's what the girls wanted to hear. So you bet your ass that's what I did. Charlie Parker, Bird in L.A., which is a 4 LP live album. I will be definitely looking for that, because I love Charlie Parker, and there wasn't a whole lot of stuff recorded because he came along so early and died so young. They really didn't get a chance to do a whole lot with him. So anything I can get my hands on with Charlie Parker, I will. And you guys might like, let's see, John Prine is in there. Richard Pryor, picture disc. I know it's comedy, but geez, I might look into that, because you don't need high quality sound. And it's not like picture discs are the devil. It's not like they sound so bad that I couldn't possibly stand it. But when it comes to music, I just don't find them very interesting for me. The Ramones, which is another live album. That's what they've been doing lately with the Ramones stuff, is live albums every record store day. This is Triple J live at the Wireless Capitol Theatre, Sydney, Australia. So that's kind of interesting. It was in 1980. Now it says LP. And usually when they do live albums, they're at least a double LP with a nice gatefold. So I'll be interested to see if it is only one album. I'll still buy it, because the Ramones they're legendary to me. But I'm kind of surprised it would only be a dual LP. And then Sisters of Mercy, another great 80s band. The BBC sessions, they are on the early forefront of goth music, which I like a lot of that early goth stuff, like Bauhaus and Sisters of Mercy. Killing Joke isn't really goth, but they were kind of in that vein-ish, especially with their topics and how dark they could get. And then they've got Tesla. I was happy to see this, because the last couple of record store days, they put out Tesla, they put out Skid Row. Those albums are fantastic. The Skid Row is already going for like $120 or $150, which I'm not going to sell. I mean, I love that damn album. But Mechanical Resonance is going to be... It's in a French import, too. The last one was a French import. So I'm kind of wondering why that is. I'll have to look that up, because, no, I'm curious. Again, we have a whole bunch of various artist stuff. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Does anybody like that movie? I mean, if you do, let me know. But my ex-wife watched that movie and she loved that movie and cried a lot. I don't think that that's a soundtrack that I want to have. Maybe I should look up the bands on there and see what it is, but it doesn't strike me as something that I want to get right away. Now, there was or is a tribute to Curtis Mayfield that is a dual LP under the various artists catalog. That could be interesting. Probably not high on my list, but the remainder of this list as well, not much there. I don't want to be a naysayer, and I'm certainly not trying to down this at all, but maybe it's because we've all had such a rough time of it the last year, but I was really hoping for more from the Record Store Day list this year. There are some things I like for sure, and there are probably some things that you like too, and just because I'm not into them doesn't mean that you shouldn't be excited. And if you are, tell me about that too. What are some bands on there that I'm not paying attention to that you think I might really dig? Definitely leave us a comment in the section below. But so far, those are the lists. If there are updates to these lists, I'll let you know as soon as I get them. And in the meantime, I look forward to next time.